How's it going? My name is Daniel Pacelli. This is the first ever interview I've ever done on this channel. So this channel's mostly about art, me making stuff to show you guys, kind of bring you through the process. But today I thought it'd be a great opportunity to interview this guy right here, Mike. Mike, if you want to introduce yourself and what you do.
Sure. First, let me say I didn't know it was going to be your first interview, and that's a tremendous honor for me. So I'm really excited. Thank you for thinking of me.
Dude, of course,
And
yeah.
I do see also why you thought it might be fitting, because I started a Catholic fashion line about a year and a half ago in order to bring the beauty and provocativeness of the church and of the art from the tradition out into the world where more people will see it.
All right, great. Yeah, I thought it would be very appropriate since, one, the last video I uploaded on this channel was me making this shirt that I'm wearing. I filmed it about like a year ago, and I just sat on all the footage, and then I just recently uploaded it. But yeah, since I made this and you made just beautiful shirts, your stuff blows mine out of the water by far. It's awesome.
Well, I do have the advantage of picking from the all-stars of history and being able to use their art thanks to the absence of copyright laws beyond a certain point.
Yeah.
And,
Well,
yeah.
so what you do, you're kind of just fitting the clothes to the template of the shirt and trying to see graphically how that matches up. Because you do that full print. That's like very insane. Because you don't spare anything, right?
Yeah. If the technology for this is called all over print, and it is just a couple of years old as far as I'm aware.
Okay.
And yeah, I am not a visual artist in the same way that you are. I could not do what you do. And what I do is more like curating or producing in the sense of deciding and judging what art fits a garment in a way that is provocative and beautiful and attractive to the church and to the people who wear these things.
That's awesome. Another thing that connects us both actually is that we both made shirts for this conference as well.
Really?
Yeah. So I got my shirts in with Kyle and Drew a little late, so they're gonna use the shirts I made them a little after. They're trying to find a new place to distribute and stuff. But yeah, so that's one thing. I thought, like, damn, cool. So yeah, right now we're at the Catholic Creator Conference, and we're just here hanging out, listening to the talks. So that's a bit of context. But yeah, so how'd you get into the fashion? Like, what's that story?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked, because it was really kind of a funny and out of left field thing for me. I have never thought about fashion. My first experience of fashion was being like 6 years old and wearing white socks that I had like pulled all the way up to my knees. Because I thought, there's fabric there. Let's extend it. Let's use it. Like, what is there? I did not detect anything weird or wrong about this.
Dude.
But all the cool kids were like, dude. It took me decades to fathom what was going on.
That's
there.
what my brother tells me all the time. He's like,
Yeah?
dude, don't pull your socks all the way up to your knees. I'm like, dude, they're socks. I don't want them crumpled on my...
Right, exactly. And I don't know. I started buying ankle socks when I was like 20 or something. Like, just this fashion never made sense to me.
Yeah.
And what happened exactly is I became Catholic. I fell in love with the church about 3 years ago.
Okay.
And, there's kind of a long, weird story there. But I converted at a Carmelite parish. And so the priests and friars that I would see around were in their full habits. And I thought it was beautiful that they could look so weird and different from the world in a way that inherently proclaimed devotion and piety and love for God. And I've always been kind of an eccentric guy who likes to stand out and be a little weird. And so that combination of things was really attractive to me. And so I started making shirts like these, taking sacred art from the history of the Catholic universe and putting it on T-shirts just for myself so that I could stand out as though wearing a habit, but in a way that proclaims love for God.
Literally wearing your faith on your sleeve.
Yeah, exactly. And I was also in Los Angeles where like they don't want Catholics. They don't want you there.
Even though it seems like a Catholic state too, right?
Yeah, of course. All the cities, I've heard, not to go too far down this tangent, but I've heard that a lot of the cities and places in California are named for the saint on whose feast day they arrived. So like they landed in San Francisco on St. Francis's feast day, and that's why it's San Francisco.
Interesting.
And I don't know if that's like a universal rule, but I hear that's pretty common. But in any case, yeah, part of it was just feeling rebellious because I didn't feel wanted, and I just wanted to like go to the grocery store and flip people off, but with the faith. You know, you know what I'm talking about?
So. Yeah, no, I don't know what you mean.
Just like, come on, let's go, rally the troops and conquer territory.
Yeah, because there's like
quietly.
There's the personal religious aspect of it, and like, hey, this is my faith. I love it. It's so beautiful. I want to wear it out for you. And then also like the secular aesthetic of it, because a lot of people are into like Gothic kind of styles and like old Catholic themes. I had a friend from college. He's like, yeah, I'm not Catholic, but I love the Catholic Church because it's so like aesthetic, but I don't like agree with anything with that it teaches. But I'm like,
what a beautiful, honest thing to say.
Yeah,
because I love that you pointed that out, because whenever there's any reference to like fantasy culture or goth culture, they're really just ganking high Middle Ages, high Gothic architecture and fonts and lettering, and like taking typology from gravestones built 1,000 years ago and like putting it on jewelry and stuff. Like, it's so weird how these things that are considered like the darkest and most edgy really actually come from the high point of love of God in the history of humanity.
Gothic architecture, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's supposed to be pointing up towards God, right? Like the way it's built and it's framed and stuff.
Yeah, and one of the beautiful things about it is there's an incredible amount of philosophy and theology behind the design decisions that they made.
Okay.
For example, once they figured out how to build, pointed arches that distributed weight in a different way than rounded arches, and added flying buttresses to help hold up the walls, well, then they didn't need these massive thick walls anymore, and they could have more windows. So it was all about letting light in. It was about, you have these stone vertiginous structures that you go into them and you expect them to be dark because, churches for the last 1,000 years have been relatively dark. But then you see it suffused with a divine light that is just somehow finding its way in.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So, High Gothic, that's the name of your online store. Where'd you get that name? Yeah,
High Gothic Casual. My first experience of Catholic culture that really struck me was so long ago that I had no idea what it would eventually mean to me. I was visiting San Francisco with a girlfriend, and we went to Grace Cathedral in San Francisco, which is Episcopalian.
Okay.
But it's a Gothic cathedral. It's a modern Gothic cathedral built maybe 100 years ago. And it was so astoundingly beautiful and so surpassed any other space I had ever been in, that the impression never left me. And I didn't expect it to have an effect on my life or a place in my life. But when I started feeling attracted to the Catholic world, I remembered that and went, oh, wait a second. That's for me? That could be for me? Whoa, And so, the high Gothic aesthetic has always had this special place in my heart. And I just thought it was funny that there's nothing less casual than high Gothic architecture. But here I am making streetwear. And I just kind of enjoyed that inside joke with myself so much that I made it the name of the band.
It's like a bit of an oxymoron. It's just like casual. This is, definitely.
It's my favorite.
It's awesome.
Laughter is my favorite reaction when I tell people the name of the brand, because also, part of the idea is to make such beauty a casual, everyday thing.
Yeah, it's like, it's the most awesome thing ever. The Catholic Church and
of course,
beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah. Just going to the grocery store. I'm just holding bananas and wearing Caravaggio and what, you got a problem? Like,
it's cool, man.
Yeah, there's something disarming about that.
So shifting gears a little bit, how do I want to put this? Do you so for people who want to make wear like this, could you give a little advice for them? Like, how do you start getting into apparel? How do you maybe best ways for distributing, or kind of whatever you want to talk about, whatever advice that you have for them.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a double-edged sword here. One of the decisive factors that got me into this was that the technology has reached a point of advancement where it's relatively easy and even convenient to do this kind of work.
Okay.
Because I don't keep inventory. I build websites, I design the clothing, and I advertise. But when people place orders through the website, it gets passed immediately to a supplier that manufactures the shirt and ships it to the customer.
So that's print on demand, right?
It's print on demand,
Okay.
yes. And print on demand does this technology called all over print now, where there are many different kinds of garments that you can design via template like this, and it will print all over and not just like in a predefined square. That's huge. That's a big opportunity, but it has to be used well. Like, you should have a really specific idea of the message you want to send, and there are really a lot of considerations, and it's a difficult and non-trivial matter, in my opinion, to give sufficient care to the way things are displayed. For example, even with the best intentions, when I was starting this business, when I was starting out, we made a beautiful dress of Our Lady of Perpetual Help, and it was a stained glass window of her, and I didn't even realize until my wife wore it to Mass one day that Our Lady's face was on her rear end. And someone pointed this out, and we went, that's not okay.
No.
So what we did, she cut it up, and she turned that dress into a pillowcase. So now I have a beautiful Our Lady of Perpetual Help pillowcase at my house.
I hope you washed it first.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, my wife is very responsible, so I'm just going to trust her on that. But in any case, yeah, there's really a lot to consider, and man, one of the intentions that I have is, do you know the word kitsch? KITSCH?
I'm kind of familiar with the term. It's just like not really with the definition too much.
Yeah, so I'm kind of wrestling with this idea of kitsch.
Okay.
Kitsch is art that is not good art, that people like just because it represents their thing.
Okay.
So there are a million people who will buy any Catholic t-shirt just because it has Mary on it anywhere, looking any way. She doesn't have to be beautiful, like blah 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 blah. Like, so there is a danger of representing the faith in a way that is unattractive or at least suboptimal. Does not give the kind of impression that the church deserves and that it could give. And I am always kind of surfing that line of making things that are appealing without making kitsch.
Yeah.
And trying to take art that is beautiful and top of its class in art and turning it into streetwear that is beautiful and top of its class in streetwear.
Yeah, it's not just like content. This is art that's very high considered and
Yes.
thought of.
Right.
That's what makes this an art.
Yeah, you don't just buy this because it's Catholic. You buy it because it's awesome.
I love that. Yeah, it's excellent.
And
Absolutely.
it's been satisfying to hear that as a recurring theme at this conference, that multiple people have said, we don't need, what was it? We need more creators who are Catholic, not more Catholic content creators.
Yeah.
People who are doing an interesting thing and happen to be Catholic. That's kind of a stance against kitsch. That's kind of like, let's do great things, and your Catholicism will find an expression in it. Now, I couldn't wait I did not have the patience to embark on that just yet because I was full of zeal and in love with the church and still am. And so I went right to creating explicitly Catholic things. But the idea remains that if it's not inherently attractive, then it won't attract. It's not enough to just be about your thing.
Yeah, and I see that a lot when YouTubers make merch and of themselves and just have their logo on the chest and then kind of nothing else, like on like a black t-shirt or whatever. Yeah. And it's just, hey, buy this because it has my logo on it. It doesn't really look great. No, so I won't. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a brave and difficult thing to have to say.
Yeah.
But like on a more encouraging note, the technology really is available now to do what I do more easily than ever. And I'll give a few examples.
Sure.
Wikimedia Commons. You can search Wikimedia Commons, which basically hosts all the images that are somewhere on Wikipedia, and they're all public domain. So if you can find beautiful Catholic art or photos of beautiful Catholic art in Wikimedia Commons, then it's already licensed, if not for explicit repurposing, even in commercial products, it's pretty close. Like you can just give attribution and do that. So there's a vast quantity of Catholic art that is fair game to repurpose in the kind of ways that I have. Second are the AI tools that have come out lately.
Okay.
I'm not very good at using them, so I try not to use them to create, the art itself.
Yes.
But what I might do is take a painting that has like a really tight frame around the subject and use AI to expand the background around it.
So it's like helping with the visual noise to transition to something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just extending the space around a subject so that St. Joseph's face isn't like the size of a basketball right here because there's no space. Like on this one, this actually, let me see if I can tell. There's a midline somewhere where this kind of mirrors itself. The actual image is, maybe ends something like here. But the shirt has to look complete. The image has to look complete, so it kind of blends and then restarts on the back.
Yes.
So you can use AI to fill in
The gap.
visual gaps, in a way that's unobtrusive and subtle. And another thing you can use AI for is enlarging images.
Okay.
So if you only have like a 1,000 pixel resolution of something, if you try to blow that up and put it on a shirt, it'll look blurry and pixelated and won't work. But there are AI tools that can expand that 1,000 pixels to 8,000 pixels or something like that by filling in little details that aren't actually there. It just uses inference to do that. So those are some of the ways that what I do is easy and other people can do it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you have any is there any like pitfalls people can easily fall into, like maybe bad habits besides niche or kitsch? Kitsch, yeah. Besides that.
Yeah, so kitsch is one, irreverence is another, like accidentally putting Our Lady's face on your rear end. That's a mistake. I try not to cut off anybody's head or put any saints in the armpit, things like that. And it's hard to describe exactly, but if I could boil it down, I would say you should have a really specific message or impression that you want to convey, because if your vision for the thing is too general, then it could kind of go any number of ways. But if you're trying to solve a really specific problem, it's going to make you picky. It's going to make you care about details, and that will tend to go well. So like the more focused the vision is for what exactly you want to convey. And the example for me is, I'm a rock musician, so I'm going for I'm trying to reconcile the aesthetic of rock and roll with the aesthetic of the Catholic Church. That's really hard. The two things have historically been completely contrary to one another.
Yes. Okay.
And the difficulty of that reconciliation makes my goal extremely specific, and that specificity creates carefulness, and that carefulness ends up, helping me avoid mistakes in kitsch in a way that someone who just decides I'm going to make Catholic shirts without a more focused approach to it might be vulnerable to.
Cool. Yeah, that's a really important thing to touch upon, because it's just like, it's also like looking inward, like who are you and what exactly, if you're making like merchandise for yourself, you're trying to sell yourself through your art, like what kind of branding do you want to have, kind of like that. Like, do you have a very intense vision? Like, do you have a genre maybe? Yeah. So like because you don't want like a fun like spray paint aesthetic, like street wall, and then have a white text on a black shirt, like graffiti
Right.
on a shirt.
Yeah, I mean, and there are some people who might want to do that. People who are rappers or something might want to, do that genre blend that I'm doing with rock and roll. That's just not my area, so I don't feel comfortable, attempting it.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely, that would be another way to do this kind of thing.
Yeah, making sure that you know what you want and know what you're doing. So you can
Yeah.
kind of sell like the same product to other people, like, hey, this is different, but it's in the same vein, so they like it.
Yeah, and in fact, that seems to be a uniting feature of a lot of great art. Like, I'm not a scholar in this area, but I have a hypothesis
I got you.
that what makes art good is having a lot of reasons for doing a thing.
Okay.
If I put, a blue circle here in this painting, just because I want one there, all right. But if this blue circle is symmetrical with this line and draws this together and draws your eye to this and rhymes, harmonically with this and symbolizes this, and you have 20 different reasons for putting a blue circle there, that blue circle is going to mean a lot more and going to have a lot more intention behind it than just, behold a blue circle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like order over just something.
Yeah.
Order over thing.
Yes.
Order matters.
That what you can do with your art is you can embed your intentionality. You can embed your own interior orderliness into a thing that takes no time for the eye to absorb.
Mm-hmm.
That's the cool thing. You can kind of write your thoughts into the physical thing that you create, so that instead of, I don't know, reading your memoirs or something, people can just see this thing, receive the vibe, and receive some measure of your intentionality.
That's awesome. And getting back into just terms for apparel, we talked about direct apparent. That's what it was called. Like, order on demand. All right.
Order on demand,
So then there's other terms, direct to garment and direct to film. What do you? So it seems like you do order on demand. That does not look screen printed. So what do you use?
I use Printful mostly.
Okay, I've heard of them. I'm very familiar. I tried selling stuff through there.
They're based in the United States. They
Mhm.
source things from other places, but for what I make, it's all coming from the United States and manufactured here. And they've done an excellent job. I've actually used them for probably 5 years because I used them to make company T-shirts for a company that I started in 2020, but completely unrelated to this. That's why I went to them first when I started doing this.
So, what do you do? You have a preference between like how the ink is printed on the garment, or like screen printing on the printing on garment, printing on film?
If I were more professional about this, if I had a greater background in it, then I probably would have such a preference.
Okay.
But as a newbie in the fashion industry, I'm trying to accomplish a very specific thing, and I'm not generally a fashion person. I haven't given a lot of thought to that yet. It's really just been about how do I create this vibe, and once I found a way to do it, I've been going into that deeply rather than broadly.
Yeah, and it seems like another pitfall would be getting a little too scrupulous about that in beginning first, and just making a good product.
Yeah, absolutely. And people will complain, why don't you do this in cotton? And people, there's people who want, different versions of things. And sometimes the technology is there for it, and sometimes it's not.
Are you happy with your work?
Am I happy with my work?
Yeah.
Most of the time.
All right.
Sometimes I'm a little frustrated. Sometimes I'm a little lazy. But generally, I believe in this idea. I think it's cool. I think it's important. I'm, kind of figuring out exactly how to do this, just like in a lifestyle sense, I suppose, in a vocation sense. Should this be more of a ministry or more of a business? Like questions like that.
Yeah.
But I really think that this approach to spreading the faith is very important and sort of underdone, because there's only so many people who are ready to hear an argument, and they have to be willing, they have to be interested. But if you wear a shirt like this onto a New York City subway, 200 people are going to see it, and they don't have a choice in the matter. I'm going to show you the church, and you cannot be mad at me. All I did was wear a shirt. I did not talk to you. It's very innocent and unobtrusive way to intrude.
Yeah. It's like, just out of this, imagine just walking around the street, just showing a person the picture of their house on their shirt. It's pretty much what it is. They're like, hey, this is your home. Even though you can, yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah. There is kind of an invasion aspect, that this is the culture that ought to dominate it, and reminding people of that in a way that's very gentle, and not to be too triumphalist about it, but just taking up space that currently belongs to atheism and trivialities and all sorts of vice, and promoting all kinds of things that destroy souls, pornographic advertisements and things like that. It's very valuable for us to just occupy visual space, show people that this is an option, that being a Catholic isn't just for weird nerds. It's a cool thing that everyone has in their range of possibilities, and it's worth desiring.
That's beautiful, man. Do you find, what kind of success do you see in this? Have you found any success in this?
Yeah.
It's like big, like it could be like business or like spiritual, if you want to touch on that.
Sure, both. One is, there are a few different ways I can answer that. One is, I have had people write in and say things like, I wore a shirt with Our Lady of Guadalupe on a stained glass window. I wore one of your shirts to a hospital, and a nurse saw me and dropped her jaw and said, Our Lady of Guadalupe walked in with you with that t-shirt. And Our Lady in particular seems to be using these clothes and our customers to do things. And so it's kind of like not just equipping people, but equipping God with conduits through which he can work in people's lives and attract people to start conversations and things like that. So it's kind of like, each shirt is kind of like a servant. It gets sent out into the world and it accomplishes a thing, at least in theory.
Yeah.
Sometimes in practice, like in that story I just shared. So that's a really exciting kind of success that we've seen. It just is a window through which the Holy Spirit can enter into other people's lives, in addition to the person who's wearing it. Second, certain groups of people are just very excited about the concept. They want it for the same reason that I want it, to be sort of rebellious and pious at the same time.
Yeah.
Or they're musicians who want to play in front of a crowd and wear their faith in a way consistent with their musical genre in front of a crowd. And I think that's a good niche for me, because again, that's just very close to my own personality.
Yeah, and especially those people who are more in the rock and roll scene, who are kind of leaning towards like the worst stuff in that genre, having this even as an aesthetic where it's just breaking through. Like, hey, what does my shirt even mean?
Right.
This shirt that I love is really cool. What does that even mean? And then looking into it, like, having a little bit more sensitivity around it.
Absolutely. And I think that's a good example, because I've seen like devotional candles with Jimi Hendrix on them. Like, they take, rock stars and put them in the condition of a saint, or give them the reverence of a saint. And it's a joke. Yeah. It's just a way to express, great admiration. But what I hope to do with these shirts is the opposite. Take rock star kinds of paraphernalia and give that level of glory to saints. Instead of wearing a Jimi Hendrix concert shirt, wearing a St. Joseph shirt, or a St. Boniface shirt, or a St. Denis shirt with his head cut off, or a Joan of Arc shirt, to treat saints like the rock stars that they are. Give admiration, direct admiration toward where it's more truly due.
Yeah, the saints are the true alternative of the world for God. Yeah.
Yeah, they're what we would all want to be if we were looking at things right.
Yes. Do you have kind of a patronage for this? Like, do you devote this ministry or business to a certain saint?
Saint Therese is the patron of the business.
All right, great. How do you choose that?
She's my personal patron saint, but also was a tremendous intercessor for missionaries and was able to win a great many souls without leaving her little convent, and feels like a parallel.
All right. Well, Mike, thank you so much. You're very well spoken, and all of your art is just so beautiful, man.
Thank you so much.
The way you put everything together is awesome. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me on. Good luck with all your endeavors.
Thank you. God bless.
Thank you.
Peace.